Yo, what's good? Give y'all a minute to get up in here. I will play some music, but you know, it doesn't even matter. I get hit with, whenever I play music, I get hit with copyright strikes. Don't really do shit because I'm not monetized, so it is what it is. How y'all doing? Oh, sweet. I'll tell you what, let's listen to I think BN's in the building. We're going to listen to Jim Jordan talk about, Jim Jordan, you know, the congressman, talk about the ATF pistol brace rule. Let's see what he's talking about as you guys file in.
With the ATF or the Biden administration about these issues we are discussing today prior to the notice of proposed rulemaking.
We submitted formal petitions for rulemaking through the appropriate channels, sir.
Before the notice of proposed rulemaking?
That's correct.
So you were in communication with the Biden administration wanting to make these changes?
We filed formal petitions for rulemaking through the appropriate channels.
Who'd you talk to?
I was a written submission, sir.
Did you speak to anyone personally?
I didn't.
Did anyone in your organization talk to anyone?
I have to check, but I believe we submitted the written submission as a formal submission.
People in your organization may have talked to folks at the ATF prior to the notice of proposed rulemaking?
Not that I'm aware.
Did anyone in your organization talk to Mr. Dettelbach before the notice of proposed rulemaking?
I don't believe Mr. Dettelbach had
He came in after.
nominated.
Have anyone talked to Mr. Dettelbach about this personally?
Of course, we've been in communication with the ATF in this administration and in prior administrations.
Talking to the director? You talked to the director?
I mean, we work with ATF across administrations.
Have you talked to the director? It's a simple question.
Yeah, I've communicated with the director.
You've talked to Mr. Dettelbach?
Of course.
Yeah, and well, I find that interesting. I just know, as we're speaking upstairs, the president of the National School Board Association is sitting for a transcribed interview because the same thing happened there. National School Board Association talked with the Biden White House, the Biden Justice Department, the Biden Department of Education, concocted this letter that set in motion this whole attack on parents showing up at school boards. And it looks to me like we have a similar operation going on here, where you guys worked with the ATF to change something that had been the law for 10 years to go after law-abiding Second Amendment Americans. Second Amendment supporting Americans. Mr. Bosco, you invented this stabilizing brace, is that right?
That's correct.
And you invented it for a Marine buddy, a friend of yours who served our country and was injured?
That's correct.
And you were told 10 years ago that the stabilizing brace does not convert a pistol into a short-barreled rifle, is that right?
That is correct.
I got the letter right here from the ATF, November 26, 2012, right? And then 7 weeks ago, a 180-degree change, right? 180-degree change, just the opposite. They now say it is just the opposite of what they told you 10 years ago. I know others have talked about this, but I think it's so clear. 180-degree change. So in 10 years and 2 months, the rule was one way, and you developed business based on the rule that they told you. Your government told you this was fine, and now they've changed it.
That's correct.
When did the bill pass that changed the law?
There was no bill.
No bill. That's the fundamental issue, right? No bill. Mr. Dettelbach, the new director, he never ran for Congress. I don't think he was ever. I don't remember a bill going through Mr. Nadler's committee last Congress that changed the law. I would have known because I'm on that committee, the Judiciary Committee, which has jurisdiction over this stuff. I would have known. I don't remember a bill passing the full Congress. I don't remember a bill in the Senate Judiciary Committee passing or going through the Senate. And I certainly don't remember a bill going to President Biden's desk that he signed the legislation that changed the law.
All right.
This potentially impact.
I just wanted, to show you guys the dog and pony show in the Congress in regards to the pistol brace rule. Just to warm you guys up as I get ready for my discussion. As you can see, the separation of powers, all these things that are the checks and balances, they aren't in place. They're very flimsy if they are in place. And as you can see, the law enforcement arm of the government can do whatever the hell they want, because who is going to enforce the enforcers, right? Let's say, you know, the ATF is doing illegal shit, right? They're passing illegal rules, and they start arresting people unlawfully. Who is going to arrest the ATF agents? Huh? Who is going to arrest the ATF agent? Because the high executive is in charge of all the law enforcement agencies, right? The president. So you're talking about the president of the United States gave the ATF their marching orders. That same president of the United States is essentially in charge of the FBI, which would essentially be the arresting body, right? They would be the ones essentially to arrest ATF agents. But guess what? They're in charge. They are controlled by the president, right? And so who is going to enforce what the enforcers are and aren't supposed to do? When Congress can't do it and the judicial branch can't do it, right? Because they have no control over law enforcement, right? The legislative branch creates the laws, and the judicial branch interprets the laws, and the executive branch enforces the laws. Well, if the executive branch is incorrectly enforcing the laws, who is going to arrest and who is going to stop the executive branch from doing their illegal shit? Well, basically it's supposed to be the people, right? The militia. And who makes up the militia? We do. But we're not well regulated. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me move on. I thought I'd touch on that real quick. Right now I want to talk about race. You know, and why it is important in this day and age. Because, well, race sells. You know how they say sex sells? Well, race sells as well, because anything having to do with race is a hot button issue. It's always going to be controversial, especially depending on who is initiating the racial talks, who's initiating the racial event, right? Who's it involved? You know what I mean? Who's talking about it? Who's doing this? You know, all that. And you know, I had to sit back and think about why race and why the races are so divided, right? And why it continues to be divided when we're supposed to be, I mean, it's supposed to be 2023. We're all supposed to be getting along, kumbaya, right? Well, we know that's never going to happen. There's never going to be a kumbaya, right? Because there's always going to be people who have differences. And it doesn't have to be a kumbaya. What it could be is a mutual respect, right? One group respects the other group, respects their differences, respects their customs and cultures, and that's it. It's reciprocated, right? And that's how it should be. Because the different cultures is a beautiful thing. Cultural diversity is a beautiful thing. And I'm talking about, when I say cultural diversity, I'm talking about cultural diversity worldwide. I'm not talking about forcing diversity within a group, right? Forcing a diversity into a group in terms of a corporation, or when it comes to employment. No, that's bullshit, right? You know, when you start getting into the weeds of that, it really just creates more problems. When you try to force diversity, I mean, look what's going on in Hollywood right now. Look at all the diversity in Hollywood. That's why all these movies and TV shows fucking suck. You know what I'm saying? Robert Lynch shows was good. The movies and the TV shows, they fucking suck. Marvel sucks. All this shit sucks. Because they are forcing this diversity down your throat. And they're forcing this woke bullshit down your throat. Now, woke... you know, woke actually meant something back in the day. for me when I started out as a Hotep two-stepper, right? I was once a Hotep two-stepper, and I was quickly disillusioned by the Hotep community because of all the egos and all the, what it really was about is this person wanted all the attention, that person wanted all the attention, this person wanted to be in charge, that person wanted to be in charge. It was always bumping heads. It was never about true leadership. It was always about some bullshit. But what I understood was that, it's important to understand what woke is. Woke is an awareness. That's all it is. It's awareness. It doesn't even have to do it doesn't have to have anything to do with race. But that's what they turned it into. When they say woke, when certain people say woke, they mean something else. They don't mean what they think it means. No, people who use a word, oh, woke this, woke that, oh, that person's woke, look at that woke corporation, all this, that, and third. They don't have any understanding of what woke really means. Because these corporations that do push this diversity and they destroy the IP in order to appease and pander to certain individuals, well, they're not doing it because they're woke. They're not trying to be woke. They're trying to capitalize, right? They're trying to push their politics. They're trying to push their ideologies. That's not woke. Woke is an understanding, right? Woke, let's say, an example of what wokeness is understanding that slavery is not over. You're still enslaved in this country that we call the United States of America. It's just a different form of slavery. You're still enslaved. You're still enslaved because, in order to actually live in this world and survive, especially in the United States, you can't just freely go about living your daily life. You are beholden to the United States government. You're beholden to your county. You're beholden to your city. You're beholden to your state, because there's all these taxes, there's all these fees. If you want to go fishing, you got to get a permit. If you want to go hunting, you got to get a permit and a license. If you want to open carry, you got to need a license. You want to conceal carry, you need a license. That's slavery, right? So that's what wokeness is. Wokeness is understanding. When you're woke, you understand that, right? You understand that law and order is detrimental to the community. Law and order is destruction, right? Law and order is bullshit. And people will tell you, oh, well, without law and order, you wouldn't. Somebody told me that my daughters and my wife wouldn't be safe to walk through the neighborhood if it wasn't for law and order. No. No. Because law and order does not prevent criminals from victimizing people, right? You know why my wife and daughters and my sons can walk through the neighborhood while I'm not around? Is because the people in that neighborhood are going to look out for each other. They are equipped to defend my wife and children. We have a relationship. You know what I'm saying? You get to know your neighbor. You get to know the people in your neighborhood and all this other stuff. Not everybody in the neighborhood is going to be perfect, but if there's some asshole in the neighborhood that's kind of suspect, well, we can kind of sniff them out, right? No, my wife and children are free to roam in their neighborhood because the people in that neighborhood are essentially safe. And anybody comes into the neighborhood and tries to start shit, well, we got a whole neighborhood of men that can step up and handle some business. And on top of that, my wife is equipped, and she's packing too, so she can defend our children. And my children, they know what to do. They go through drills and all that other stuff. You don't need law and order. Why this motherfucker? Anyway, so that's what wokeness is. Wokeness is understanding the reality of the situation you're living in, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with race, but it can have something to do with race, right? If you can have an understanding that the system, right? The system of individuals that enforce laws might deal with certain races in a different way. This is not the reality in every city, in every neighborhood, because I haven't encountered any of that in where I live in South Carolina. As a matter of fact, I've had more racial encounters with police in California than in South Carolina. But that's another story. What I'm saying is understanding that understanding and knowing that the private prison system, right? The prison industrial complex gets money, makes most of its money when the prisons are full. And it's no mistake that most of those prisons are filled with African Americans. I mean, that's just what it is. And understanding that when there's data that shows that police are more likely to accost black people than white people, knowing that there's that data's out there, knowing that when they get placed under arrest, right, white people and black people get charged differently, and if they go to trial and they lose in trial, they're more likely to get different sentences. Understanding that and knowing that there's a pattern behind that is what wokeness is, right? That's what really being woke is about. Knowing that you have a certain place in this country to a lot of people, and really what it has to do is with the elites and how they treat everything, right? Because depending on who makes up the dominant society, that is the group that is going to get the most privilege, right? If you go to Africa and the government is ran by Africans and they're not a puppet government, if they're not a puppet government, right? You know, a puppet government from some European country or from Chinese country or from China, then, you know, black people are probably going to have a level of privilege over white people in that country, right? If that country is like really ran by black leaders and they want their people to thrive within their country, then guess what? That's just how it works. That's how it works. Whoever makes, here we go. Whatever racial group makes up the dominant society in that society is going to get most level of the biggest level of privilege. That's how it fucking works. I don't care what nobody says. We can debate it all night and day. And that's just the reality. But, you know, as much as certain individuals tell you, oh, there's people always race baiting, you know, you pull in a race card, all this, that, and the third, they sure do benefit greatly when it comes financially, notoriety. When it comes to race, they really do benefit. They use race to boost, particularly like I said in YouTube, their channels, to bring traffic to their channels, to create controversy, to create a buzz, to create likes and views. People use race regardless of what they tell you. Oh, we need this race stuff, this race is this, race is that. But they're the main ones constantly race baiting, throwing the race in their fucking titles, doing all these things, and they're trying to act like they're trying to act like they're fighting against this behavior when they're completely engulfed in the behavior. They're doing this shit just as much as everybody else, right? You know, when they put in titles like, oh, black man beats white man and all this other shit, like, why are you interested in this story in the first place? You know, people commit assaults against other people all day and every day, right? What made you so interested in this story? What's so special about the victim of this assault? What's so special about the individual committing the assault? Is it just because they're black and white? You see, These people are full of shit. They'll tell you, oh, stop being race, stop pulling a race car, stop doing this, stop doing that. But at the same time, they will use race to bring traffic to their channels and all that. They'll do it without hesitation. So when they're trying to behave like, oh, well, we're trying to end the race hate in a division, they're really just creating more division, because they'll come out and they'll just completely, and let me give you an example. Brandon Tatum did a video, okay? Brandon Tatum did a video where somebody came out and said something, oh, Melanie King. So you see, Brandon Tatum is kind of diving into this red pill space and all this other shit, which is, you know, it's no big deal because it's big right now. There's a lot of shit going on in the red pill community, in the manosphere, and you know, the sisterhood and all these other groups all converging and fighting amongst each other and all this other shit. Yeah, it's a big deal right now because this is a very important space in terms of the messaging. But Melanie King went on Just Pearly Things channel, went to her studio and joined the panel, and she was talking about how black women are the lowest group of people. The lowest group. They're at the bottom, right? Because they're whores and they twerk a lot and all this other shit. Now, here's the thing though, Melanie King. Here's one thing I gotta push back on Melanie King with. They're all doing it. Black, white, Hispanic, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't say it was black culture, right? Melanie King didn't say black culture. What she said was black people or black women are at the bottom because they're twerking, they're dressing this, that, and the way, they're having sex with a lot of dudes and all this other shit. They're whores. And you know, yeah, I would call Melanie King out on that if I had any clout or any recognition for her. You know, if my message would reach her, I would tell her, why the fuck are you going on this white woman's platform shitting on black women? You know what I'm saying? Now, Melanie King, people think that she's half white, half black. I don't know what the fuck. You know, I don't know if she's half black, half white. I don't know if her daddy. I know her daddy's black for sure because I heard her talk about her dad. I don't know if her mom was white. But the point is this. I agree with Six the Goddess when she says, why is Melanie King going onto this white woman's platform to push this narrative that black women are ghetto and whores and all this other shit, when they're all like that? If you look at the modern woman today, they all do the same shit. They all do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. Men on the street interviews where white girls are talking about getting donkey punched and getting being in the middle of a circle jerk and having sex with 3 dudes. Oh, I had sex with 4 dudes in the car yesterday. And then she got in the car with the interviewer and gave him a blowjob. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about. It's not just black women. White women are twerking. They getting booty injections and lip injections to look more like black women. This is just real shit. They have all these women, right? A lot of these women of many races are doing the same shit. They're all doing it. So to say that black women are it might have been like 5 or 6 years ago where white girls were getting married at their graduation in college, but that's happening less and less. More and more white women, more and more Hispanic women, more and more black women are like, fuck marriage, I want to do this, I want to do that. They're all doing the same shit. Not all women though. There's a lot of good women, there's a lot of good black women, there's a lot of good white women, all this, that, and the third. But what I'm saying is, for Melanie King to say that, because there's no data to show, oh, who's the most whorish, there's no data for that. You can talk about, if you want to talk about the data for, you know, the single parenthood and all that shit, that's another story. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're twerking whores, right? But anyway, white women are having babies out of wedlock. They're, you know what I'm saying? There's this whole trend now where black women are getting knocked up by black men. I forgot what it's called. It's called I Got Negroed, or I forgot what it's called. But they're actually boasting and bragging on the internet about getting knocked up by black men. You understand what I'm saying? This shit's kind of wild, yo. These white women women are women. Women are women at the end of the day, and they getting banged up too. They getting knocked up. They getting knocked around. They getting their soul snatched by a bunch of men. That's just what it is. Doesn't matter what race you are. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what I mean. And what did Judge Pearly things do? She put out this video where Melanie King, or the show where Melanie King is talking about black women, and she puts what Melanie King thinks about black women. And then you have this chick talking about shitting on black women. See what I'm saying? And that shit went viral. Race is a fucking commodity on these YouTube streets, on these TikTok streets, on these Facebook streets. And I say YouTube because I'm not on Instagram like that. I'm not on TikTok like that. I don't have a profile that I keep up. This is where I focus most of my content creating energy. And so I'm speaking on, and even in this. So, and it doesn't matter what space you're in. Bringing up racism, especially if you bring up black people. If you bring up black folks in any space, whether it be the red pill community in terms of politics, if it's the red pill, the red and blue pill community, and dating and all this other shit, it just brings so much traffic. And it's such a huge commodity. And trust me, the powers that be understand that. The powers that be understand that. These people come out and they use race. And like I was saying, B. Tatum uses this clip of Melanie King saying that black women are at the bottom. And he posts that shit up on his shit. He makes a video about it. I didn't watch the whole video. I know how he fucking... It doesn't really even matter. I'm like, okay, he's gonna say black culture this, and see, I didn't say it. She said it, and so that gives him that gives him confirmation, I guess. It really is just confirmation bias. That's one of the worst fallacies that you could ever, commit. Is confirmation bias. Well, Melanie King said so. It must be true. She's a black woman, right? She's a black woman when that's just her opinion based on certain data that she's collected in her mind and compiling. But as far as I know, there is no data that shows that black women are the most whorish, are the most twerking, or there's no, it's just not true. You have to look everywhere, right? You need a large sample base. You need a large sample base if you're gonna make claims like that and act like it's a fact. There's this chick, this white chick. She's from Europe or something. I don't know. I think she might be Ukrainian, or I don't know. Her name is Nastya Naz or some shit like that. Nastya Naz, and she does all these twerking videos. White woman, white European chick, doing all these twerking videos, and she goes to different cities and she twerks in front of everybody, and she gives twerking lessons and all this other shit. And it'll be a bunch of white women up in that studio getting their twerk on, learning how to twerk, all this other shit. There's all kind of white women and all this shit teaching twerking classes. Okay? Trying to build their booty up so that they can get them a black man to knock them up. This is what is going on. You understand? They want the black D and they want the black baby. The black D bring the black baby. And essentially what that does is, they want to make everything one race. They want to erase culture. They want to erase diversity. Real racial diversity. Hear me out. Real racial diversity is keeping races pure, as pure as possible, in their own little cultural enclaves. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a beauty in pure culture. There's a beauty in that, where, you know, you want to go visit a country where it's the indigenous folks are still like doing their thing, that doing the same shit they've been doing for centuries, where they're still having the same traditions, and they're still doing the same ceremonies, and it's just a beautiful thing, and the music, all this other shit. Don't you want that to be intact? Don't you want to be able to go? And it doesn't mean that you can't go live within these communities or visit. You know, it just means that, hey, when you go, respect the culture, respect the traditions, and respect it, and stay in your fucking lane. You go to these indigenous tribes and go to these countries. Leave them alone. Like, don't bring no fucking Bibles. Don't bring no monasteries and all this other shit, ministries, whatever the fuck you call it. We don't need no missions. If you're gonna do a mission, keep that shit secular. If you really want to help these people, help them by keeping their culture and their traditions intact, and leave them the fuck alone. Leave their habitats alone. Leave their hunting grounds alone, because we have that. I mean, that's what's been done all over the world. All over the world. You know, oh, you think you're advanced, so you go to these different fucking countries, and you see these people, they walk around barefoot, their feet look like hands, you know what I'm saying? As it should. That's how you should have multiple arches in your feet. But we don't, because we start putting these fucking European shoes on, and now we fucked off in the game. That wasn't evolution, that was devolution. These people, we go and we why do we have to go places and fuck with people's shit? Why can't we just go and say, hey, this is fuck, hey, they do shit differently, and then we're just gonna leave them alone, you know? And you know, leave their fucking resources alone. But we can't do that. We gotta go invade, we gotta conquer, we gotta kill most of the people, we gotta emasculate the men, buck break the men, and then, you know, because we got our little fire sticks, we got guns, so we have superior firepower when they got little arrows and shit. So we think we're better than them. Not me. I'm talking about Europeans. We think we're better than them because we can go and we can bring our advanced weaponry and overtake them. We think we're better than them genetically. Oh, so let's go over there and do this, all that, and third. We can't just go and respect their shit. And we can't just, oh, well, if they got resources, hey, you mind if we, you know, gather some resources here, you know, and we'll leave. We don't have to, there doesn't have to be anybody. No, it can't be like that. It always has to be some aggressive bullshit, some savagery, right? They want to call other people savages, but they're the savages going into other people's fucking land and wiping them out damn near, wiping out all the buffalo. Well, actually, the indigenous did that, so that they did that too. So I mean, but look what come on. Race, all it is you have a different phenotype than this cat. You grew up in a different region than this cat. You grew up in the southern hemisphere. You were raised in we're in the northern hemisphere. We have different skin colors because of the climate, right? Oh, over here we don't get that much sunlight, so we're paler. Over there, you know, they're darker because they get more sunlight. They have dominant genes. We have the more regressive gene. It just is what it is. It is what it is. It's this, you know, the hatred, and what it's hatred that keeps this shit alive, right? It's hatred. It's hatred. You know, one hatred is justified, and the other one isn't. It is what it is. You know, you can't. I mean, we just have to recognize that many of these people that push this race, they're race pimps. They really are. It's not just race pimps on one side. It's race pimps on the other side too. If you see somebody constantly bitching and complaining about people race baiting and pulling a race card, they are probably the bigger problem. They're the bigger problem because they use race as well. They just use it in a different way. And they try to act like their way of pushing race, right, is the better way because they're trying to say, oh, well, there's no such thing as racism, when we know that's bullshit. We know it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit, right? But because they're panderers, because they like to pander to people, because they like to pander to a base that might be particularly racist deep down inside, they feel like they feel they don't. I mean, they get their money. They get their money off of it. They're race pimps. They're all race pimps, and so, you know, they act like they don't. It's so obvious to me. It's obvious to me. You know, when Brandon Tatum, when he says it's black culture to be violent, right? Violence is black culture. Twerking is black culture. All this, that, and the third. You know, it really is just him. It's self-hate. It's self-hate for the benefit of all the money he gets off of it. I would venture I posit that most of the money he has made during his YouTube career has been because of his self-hating videos where, you know, it is what it is. And what's a bigger thing to me is when the Dilbert creator guy said that white people should get away from black people, he's like, yeah, they should. But he's fucking black. Right? He's fucking black. The Dilbert creator said get away from black people. He didn't say except for the exceptional Negroes. He didn't say that. He said white people should get the hell away from black people. But here's Brandon Tatum. Oh yeah, that's right. He got every good, you know, it's stupid. It's dumb, especially when this Dilbert guy is calling black people a racist hate group. But if we were to say, if a black man were to say the same thing about the white, would fight tooth and nail to oppose that ideology, to like, he would go out of his way to disagree. But it's okay for white people to say black people are a racist hate group. He agrees with that. But this is a man that also says there's no such thing as racism and all this, that, and the third. Well, which one is it? Which one is it? What's up, 22 Ronan? Old head deuce. But you get what I'm saying? The biggest race baiter in YouTube, well, one of them is Brandon Tatum. Okay? He'll put black and white in his motherfucking video titles all day and all day long. All day and all night. Because his wife knows how the algorithm works. His wife knows that's what works. His wife is the brains of that operation, I believe. We have to, and that's the type of chick. I'm telling you, Brandon Tatum's wife is more dangerous than Brandon Tatum. To freedom, not just to black people, but to freedom for everybody. She is a staunch law and order chick, and she even is more harsh than Brandon Tatum. When Brandon Tatum was covering the Tyree Nichols death, and he was saying, oh, well, they shouldn't be doing this, hitting them upside the head, all this, that, and the third, she was like, oh, they can't? Why not? Why can't cops beat motherfuckers upside the head until their head came in? That's what she said. She believes that cops should just have the free reign and carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want. So, and she understands, okay? She understands what brings them brings the big bucks through their channel. And she's the brain behind the operation. And she's smart enough right? And I know she makes all these t-shirts, all these shirts and all the merchandise, all the logos. I think that's her doing as well. I think she has a knack for, what they call that when you advertising. I think she has a knack for marketing. She knows how to market. She knows not to put racial shit on the t-shirts and all that. She knows how to keep, we're going to keep it about Jesus and Christianity and all that stuff. And their conservative base will sell them out every time. And, the anti-groomer stuff that they got, that was genius. That was genius. That's actually one I agree with. That's actually a shirt I would probably buy. The Anti-Groomers Club or whatever. I'd probably buy a shirt like that. I'd probably do that. That's a good one. What I'm saying is, race is a commodity. Race is a commodity. Many of these people that just probably things. If it wasn't for black people, if it wasn't for her bringing black people on her platform, she wouldn't be able necessarily, well, she might be, right? But it wouldn't be as lucrative for her to put titles in her videos with the word black in it if she didn't have black talent, black producers, right? To insulate her, it's really a form of insulation, right? Because so if she does anything remotely racial, right, where she displays any type of racial bias, she can insulate herself with her black castmates and her black production crew. Very smart. She has, and she uses the talking points of black, red pill people like Kevin Samuels all day long. That's how she gained so much notoriety, right? That's how she got so much support from black men in particular, right? So, trust me, she knows that race, particularly the black race, is a hot commodity. Black culture, real black culture, and I'm talking about, when I say black culture, I'm talking about the swag, I'm talking about the music, I'm talking about the dance, I'm talking about the way we dress, how we look, how black folks just, it just augments, blackness is a crown jewel, essentially, right? Blackness is a crown jewel, and we take shit and make it stylish. That's just how it is. That's just reality. Black culture is swag. Black culture is great entertainment. Black culture is great music, dance, all these things put together. It's not murder. It's not whoring around. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a living thing. That's a living culture, right? That's a organic life culture. When you talk about murder and killing and all these things, every animal group in the animal kingdom, this is right. That's part of how you keep the population from naturally. That's how you naturally keep the population from overblowing, right? There's many forms of death. It just is what it is, like, right? White people kill, black people kill, Hispanics kill, Europeans kill. That's just what it is, right? And now some people just have a psychopathic, they're psychos, so they'll just fucking kill because they felt like it, right? Some people kill out of necessity. Some people kill out of self-defense. Some people die over misunderstandings. Some people die in car accidents. Some people die from negligence. Like, death is part of the human race code. It's part of the human race. It's part of any living being. Every living being has to die. So to assign killing to one race, it's just stupid. But black culture, it really does boost. It boosts whatever you have going on. If you can inject black culture into it, it's gonna rock. It's gonna really be popping. That's just what it is. It's just what it is. I don't know why. It's just that's just what it is. And you can see it. Every facet of society is basically, influenced by black culture. But certain people don't want to give the credit to black people for that. They want to give black people the credit for twerking and whoring around and all that shit. Well, women have been whoring around, men have been whoring around since goddamn sex has been created. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Ain't got nothing to do with black or white. One group is now more whorish than the other. And that's just the bottom line to it. But of course, you gotta have race attached to it. You gotta put black or white on it, especially if it's the negative thing, because that is really going to draw attention to it. It's going to draw attention to your channel. It's going to draw attention to whatever you got going on. That's just what it is. People use race as a commodity, and that's the bottom line. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off this. And yeah, so you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Am I wrong on this? Is race a commodity or not? I think it is. It's gonna be forever. This is how it is. And how can we get back to a place? Well, I don't know if we ever been at this place. Where can we get to a place where the different races respect each other and we are not just fucking going in on each other because of race? When can we respect each other's differences and celebrate each other's differences and learn something from each other's culture? Why is there always the bullshit? Y'all let me know what y'all think. I got 3.5 hours still. Goddamn. So I might get back on here toward the end of the trip to talk about something else that I want to talk about. But I'll let you guys know. You'll see it. You'll see it out there. You'll get the notification, hopefully. But anyway, please hit that like button on the way out. Like, share, subscribe. And we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.